So I want to start talking a little bit about Nureva and who we are. So for the ones that don't know us, that don't have an experience with us, they just have a little bit of understanding of what the company does and who we are. So starting with a little bit about the people. So for the people that know about smart technologies, you are familiar with Nancy and Dave. They started the company several years ago, and they actually then moved to start Nureva around 2014. We are an award-winning product line company with over 40 patents. We are a growing ecosystem. We have a lot of friends out there, and we have over 160 team members worldwide. One of the most important things about Nureva is sustainability. So for us, it's very important that we do a few things in the right way, making it easy for people to connect remotely, making sure that our products have longevity. So it's not just about like what is covered under warranty. We know that our products are going to keep working years after that. And then we extend the product life through updates constantly. So every few months, at least once a quarter, we have firmware updates where the products can be updated. And then we also provide upgrade paths. So we first came with generation 1 for the HDL 300, Dual 300, and HDL 200. But then when we came out with the generation 2 for the HDL 310 and 410, we made sure that there was an upgrade path. So people that first purchased generation 1 didn't have to just, if it's still working, don't have to buy another system, but just upgrade the one that you already have. We use recycled materials for our product, and then we reduce product material when packaging. So that's some things that we make sure that we do. And I'm actually gonna stop sharing for 1 second here, because instead of telling you about it, I'm actually going to show you about it. So right now I'm in our Calgary headquarters. This is the room that we usually use for demos. And what I have here is an HDL 310. And this is the only source of audio that I have in this room. So mics and speakers integrated. And this room is about 18 by 26. And one of the things that you actually can see is that this room has 2 walls that are made of glass. And we also have this really long table that is highly reflective. But as I walk around the room, you guys can hear me well. Doesn't matter where I am. And as I approach here, I'm going to show you the other part of the question. So the bars is one part of the product. That's the HDL 310. The HDL 410 is basically 2 bars and 1 connector. So this is our CM2, our connect model. This is how you connect to the bar, and then from here to your compute, whether it's an in-room computer or like bring your own device or something that can be connected to it. And I'm going to walk my way back. And the other couple of things to talk about it when we talk about product is the actual technology. We call it MIST technology. The reason why we call it that way is because the mics are actually underneath the bar, and they spread around the room thousands of pickup points. That's why I can walk around anywhere and my voice is going to be picked up. The other part of the question is the remote management and the in-room management. So we do have something that we call the console. So through that, the IT person in the company can actually look into, maybe they have 5, 10 different systems, whether in the same building, several buildings, even across the country. And they can look at what is happening with those systems. They can also look at what is happening with the cameras that are integrated into that same room, for example. And you also have the Nureva app. The Nureva app is more like a room companion. So if I wanted to come into this room, to give you an example, open up the app, and literally just in the room start seeing what's happening with that specific system, I can do that too. So it can be managed either or. Now let me come back here and I'm gonna share again. Go. There we are. And then, so this is the 3 things that I spoke about. second, for some reason doesn't want to move. There we go. So the two main products that we have, the 310 and the 410, the main difference between those two in the hardware is one bar, the other one is 2, but also the space they cover. So for the 310, it's going to cover spaces up to 30 by 30, while for the 410, it's going to be up to 35 by 55 and give about 5 feet wiggle room for those. These are some of the things that as I walk around, you guys could hear. One of them being the intelligence on targeting. So one of the things that the system does is that it's gonna cancel out those constant noises that happen in the room. So HVAC system, things like that. It's also, I'm gonna come here so you actually can see. I have done enough times this year that if I start actually typing on the table, is going to be canceled on the other side. That's because our systems are actually certified for Teams and for Zoom, and we're working in conjunction with the software to have this going back to remote participants so they can hear the voices clearly, but they don't have to hear those noises that are happening in the room. Also, like the position-based gain control, you saw that as I walk around, the system is looking to balance out. So instead of having somebody super loud on that section and somebody maybe soft spoken in this section, trying to balance it out so people can be heard about the same from anywhere. For the continuous auto calibration, the system does that constantly. So it doesn't matter if there's, for example, a flexible space where today is just me and a very long table, but tomorrow is more like a training environment when there's like maybe 3 lines of tables and it's like 20 people in here. Because the system is continuously calibrating, it's going to understand that new setup and it's going to work just the same. For simultaneous processing, it's about having that in-room experience being the same that remote participants will have it. So if there's several people here and 2 people are having a conversation, people on the other side are going to hear that conversation. So it's going to be passed off clearly. If it's like 3 people, same. Now keep in mind, if it's 20 people speaking here, I, being here, could not hear 20 people. It would be too much for me. I couldn't hear all of them at the same time. So the same experience remotely, they might hone on one specific conversation, but 20 people speaking at the same time wouldn't work. So it's the same experience for both sides. This is just to give you a visual of how our technology looks like in comparison with the other technologies that are out there for the audio. So omnidirectional technology are more like creating bubbles around specific space where they are. For beamforming technology, which is the most common one out there, is going to be more like shooting that way. That works for ceiling tiles, the same as all-in-one bars. And our technology being mist technology, that's where it like spreads around the room. So it doesn't matter where people are, they're going to be here on the other end just as well. I was going to talk a little bit about the ecosystem, and this part is going to be also important when we jump into AI. So we do a lot of testing internally with so many different brands out there to make sure that we actually collaborate, that we work together. We understand the audio is only a part of the question in a room. Usually there's going to be a camera, it's going to be a display, it's going to be any type of compute or MTR, anything like that. So this is all the people that we work out there. As I said, we are certified for Microsoft Teams and Zoom, but we also work with different type of vendors depending on what the customer is looking for. To give you a little bit of information on camera tracking, there's a couple of ways that we do it. In terms of camera collaborations, it can be done more from the side of the companies that have their own software, their own hardware, like Aver, Lumens, PTC Optics, or it can also be used doing a switcher like InnoGenie, and then set up like the camera that the customer or the dealer likes to work with and understand how to work with. And we're going to have a video to show you the other space that we have for demos where this can be appreciated. And then in terms of control integrations, we also do something about that one. With the control systems, plugins, and drivers we support for the camera tracking, then the location data works with them. And then we have Crestron, we have Epson, and QSC is coming up. Now, I think I need to stop sharing and share with sound. So give me 1 second here. Then I'll just share again. Okay. And you let me know if the sound comes through.
We will let you know. No sound.
Okay. Actually, I don't hear it myself. Stop sharing again. Include sound. I believe it's not coming up, is it?
No, it's not.
I don't know why I'm sharing with the sound. I may need to sound. 1 second.
Adriana, maybe I could jump in and talk about AI, and then we could jump to the video after.
Let's do that.
Okay,
Terrific.
great. All right, I'm
Thanks,
going to talk a
Denise.
bit about AI. AI is a term that gets thrown around a lot these days. You hear it everywhere. But when it comes to audio, AI is used to solve very specific problems. For example, transient noise reduction is a common one. We're all familiar many years ago, or a few years ago, with CRISP. Now we see transient noise reduction built into UC&C platforms. And I should add here that our microphone mist technology is not AI. It is a series of audio processing algorithms that were developed in-house, and they're very elegant, efficient algorithms for targeting and picking up sound in a room. They're covered by a full suite of patents, as Adriana mentioned, but it is not AI. An example of where we do use AI is in a feature that we call our AI voice activity detector. And this is really solving a problem for camera tracking, which hopefully we'll be able to see a video on that shortly. And so our AI voice activity detector can tell the difference between human voice and other sounds in the room. And so we use that information to decide when and when not to send audio location information to a camera tracking system. So for example, if someone's talking in the room, we know it's a human voice, we send those coordinates through. If there's a chair squeak or someone typing on a keyboard, we know that that is not a human voice, and we do not send the audio coordinates through. And then there's other areas that we're exploring as well that could be enhanced through AI. But I think an area that I find really exciting these days, where audio works with AI, is the way that audio conferencing systems in rooms can work with the AI companions or assistants that the UC&C platforms are coming out with. So for example, Zoom's AI companion or Microsoft Copilot. And a good example with Microsoft Copilot is the meeting recap feature. And this is a really powerful feature where Copilot will create not just a transcript of the meeting, but an intelligent summary that documents all of the decision points that were made during the meeting, the key discussion topics, and action items. And an audio system like Nureva audio conferencing systems, the HDL310 and the HDL410, can provide full room audio pickup, so everyone in the room can be heard by the AI assistant. High quality pickup, so you get accurate transcriptions and understanding of what's being said, but also voice attribution. And so with Copilot, this means that when people are talking in the room and they've registered their voice in Microsoft Teams, what they say is attributed in the meeting summary. So for example, if it's not just a decision was made, but Adriana made the decision, or Adriana has the action item. So really powerful. If you can imagine how time consuming it is to take notes during a meeting and then write up meeting minutes after the fact and then distribute them to the meeting participants, having this done automatically is a huge benefit. And I think what happens in most cases is that those meetings don't get created, or those meeting minutes don't get created at all. So yeah, I think this is a really powerful feature. It works really well with audio conferencing systems that cover the whole room. It essentially extends the benefits of Copilot to everyone in the room. And in a way, it creates an entirely new use case for audio conferencing systems in large rooms. One could imagine, having a meeting in a Microsoft Teams room, even if you don't have remote participants, because you'll have those meeting minutes automatically created. Yeah, so with that, I'll turn it back to Adriana, and we'll see if we can get this video working.
Well, I got it because I'm in two places. So I have the audio for the room, not for my computer. So I'm going to mute the room and open the audio in my computer, and that should work.
Great.
Thanks so much. And thanks for that, James. Really interesting stuff on Copilot. We are unfortunately still not getting
sorry, Adriana,
audio. Maybe you can tell us about the video. You are muted, Adriana.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. Just
maybe we could, Adriana, maybe you could just go over the camera tracking slide there, and then we should reiterate that anyone can get a live demo of this technology. Just visit nureva.com.
This is our patent.
Not
being forming at all, totally different technology.
No, it works.
With microphone mist, I have full use of this room, corner to corner. It doesn't matter which way I'm facing, and I can talk in any direction. I could even go under this table and present to you if you'll be able to hear me clearly. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you. I'm going to go for a stroll around the room. But you're also going to notice the camera angle change depending on where I'm standing and speaking. So right now we're sending my audio location data, or my XY coordinates, to a third-party camera switcher, which is the Inogeny Cam230. And again, depending on where I'm standing and speaking is going to trigger a different shot. So right now for this shot, our main shot, which shows the largeness of the room and the two bars, we're using a Lumens VCTR30. As I make my way to the back corner over here, it's going to switch to the Sony SRG A40, which also has AI tracking enabled. So as it detects me back here and it switches to the next camera, you're going to notice that the AI tracking is going to follow me around as I walk around the back of the room here. All the while, our HDL410 is picking up my voice. Again, I can face any direction. I can talk into the wall here while I pour myself a fake cup of coffee in the middle of my demonstration. And what I love to do here is just whisper into this plant just to demonstrate our gain control. So not only will everyone be heard in the meeting, but even those soft talkers will be heard, no problem, on the other side. Hello, Mr. Plant. It's great to see you again today. Again, soft talkers heard on the other end, no problem, even if they happen to be talking to a plant in the far corner. As I make my way around the column here and I get to the other zone, our third zone, and for this zone we have a PTZ optics camera for this nice tight shot in case you want to engage with some content on an interactive display, for example. So not only are we offering simplified audio, but also simplified video for extra large rooms. What's also really neat about our system is that it calibrates itself the moment you plug it in. So we're USB plug and play. The moment you plug it in, it's going to calibrate to the acoustic profile of the room. But it's continuously calibrating. So I can change the layout of this room. I can move tables around. I can invite people into this space. And I'll never, ever have to mess around with any audio settings because our system adapts on the fly continuously. And the last thing I'm going to mention is our intelligent sound targeting. If you happen to have really, really loud rooms with a lot of persistent background noise, our system does a great job of identifying and ignoring those sounds from the audio stream, so your remote participants only hear what they're meant to hear. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed, and feel free to book a demo anytime to see this again and have any questions answered that you need. Take care now.
There we go. So that's what we were talking about. Let me just actually move away from here. So you saw how we like the reason why I like in the Genie so much is because the way we work out with them, where it's like you can have your preferred camera, have the three of them being Sony, for example, but also you can utilize the Genie switcher to have like camera tracking at the front, but then the other two camera switching be somewhere else. So that's a powerful way to connect. And just to summarize, then where do we play well? So we have systems that can be used from anything like huddle spaces to extra large spaces. But where we shine is really going far and beyond with the capacity of all-in-one bars, which they do well in the smaller spaces. But we are really great in bigger spaces, large and extra large spaces. And there's some challenging spaces where you have rooms where there is a lot of glass, like where I am right now, even open spaces where it's more like having a display in the bar on a stand, but there's really not a lot of wall. It's more about open space in there, or like open ceilings, anything like that. We play very well in those kind of scenarios. One that I wanted to focus a little bit on before we jump into questions is the visible spaces. So we are starting to see a lot of this happening. New buildings or buildings that are having this and are starting to utilize these spaces where they have the partitions. So we work very well in having the ability to have 2 minutes going on at the same time in those 2 rooms when the partition is up. But when it is removed and it becomes one big space, it is super easy to just use a switch to have the system understand it's not 2 spaces anymore, it's one big space. And it's going to have the same full room coverage, whether you're doing 2 spaces, 2 separate spaces, or one big space. And just to finalize, we do remote demos, more customized for the customer needs, and to talk a little bit more about like what is it that they have in their space and how rAVe is going to function in that space. So one of the spaces is here where I am in Calgary, and the other one is where you saw John doing the video, where we have the 310 and the 410. Smaller space, which is pretty more like medium large and extra large space. So you can go online on our website and book a demo. LightWerks people can also just go and book the demo for you, for your customers, and bring you over. So that's a different way that we can do it. And that's what I have for you. So we can jump into questions.